Good afternoon, everyone. Hello, I am here bringing you the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion, season 11, episode 21. And this is the reunion part one for season 11, actually. And let me just get my phone over here because people have been calling me all day and they know I'm about to go live. I'm like, can you just join my live and give me a like? You're supposed to be a friend. Do that. At any rate, I I want to show something to you here. Remember, I'm always talking about Garcelle and her fashion and things like that. Well, I have something. I think this is it right here. I think this is it. Let's see. Yes. See this dress right here, this yellow dress? This was the season when her and Denise was on. Now, quite frankly, I do not like Denise's fashions either. And so I really love this dress on Garcelle. I like that season. So I just wanted to show that to you. Um, so the other thing I wanted to show you is, well, I don't have it here yet, but I'm going to go ahead and get right into it, you guys. This reunion, in my humble opinion, was jam packed. It was jam packed. For real. There was a lot to unpack in this reunion. And I believe some of the ladies were not being realistic. I really do. And I'm going to tell you which ones I believe were not being realistic as we go along. Even though it was jam packed, I'm going to keep this very short and to the point. I've created a new process to take notes, and I want to see how this goes for me. I've created a more organized process with my notes, and they're not all over the place. I have them set in kind of an Excel um, heading kind of format. So let's just see how this goes. So it starts out with the introduction. You know, it opens up. There's Andy and the ladies and everyone there. I don't know. Let me see if I can show this to you guys as well. I'm not sure if I can. Um, is it going to allow me to do that? No, because it's not already on my screen. Okay, it is not already on my screen, so I can't do it. So let me unshare. Um, I don't know. Let me see if I can get it somehow here. Da da da. It's part of the. I don't know how this is going to fare. I know you guys are like, she always does this. She's always trying to share her screen. She's not technologically advanced, so why is she always trying to do that? Just leave it alone, Bree. Okay. But I don't want to leave it alone. Okay, so it's not even set up for me to share. So I'm just going to leave it alone. Okay. At any rate, the reunion opens up with Andy and the ladies sitting there, and the backdrop is Kathy's backyard to her house, which is beautiful. Kathy has a beautiful home. On the outside, on the inside, it wasn't as open. I like openness, like my place is open. So I don't, I don't like having a bunch of little rooms I have to peek in and out of. I like to kind of see everything. So they show the ladies, and the first thing I notice is their attire, of course. And their attire is not as negative as I originally thought that it would be, because before the reunion, you know how Bravo sends out those snapshots and sends out those promotionals about what the ladies are going to be wearing on the reunion. Well, those promotionals, it didn't look good to me. I was like, oh my goodness, is this what we're doing now? Even Kyle looked good last night, looked better last night than the promotionals. And Garcelle, I had a complete 360-degree turnaround on what I thought about her fashions in the promotionals and what I thought about them last night. Um, so you say the set looked nothing like her real backyard. Well, it was close enough. I think it takes a lot. I Listen. I'm going to tell you this. Um, I have had to build sets for plays in the past when I was in college. That was part of my extracurricular college process that I went through. And even back then, when we would build sets for the stage in the auditorium for plays that the campus was going to hold, it is no joke, you guys. So I have a great respect for people who develop and put together sets and try to make them look real. So for me, I was looking at it from a different perspective, Bad and Bougie. I thought that it looked beautiful. It may not have resembled her backyard all the way. Of course, they probably added some elements there, um, like the courtyard scene that they were on. I noticed that that was a little bit different. So it was close enough, Andy, he's buttering up and licking Kathy's behind because they believe that's going to get ratings. Um, Quite frankly, I think they're making a little too much out of Kathy. Am I the only one? They're making a little too much out of her. But the best dress to me last night was Dorit and Garcelle. I had a complete 360 on what I thought about Garcelle's promotional whenever they sent out the promotionals of the women being dressed and what I saw last night. Um, I thought Garcelle looked absolutely beautiful. My only negative that I take away from her, I will never take away from her looks because the woman's just gorgeous. She's going to be, she's been gorgeous from childhood. She was gorgeous on the Jamie Foxx show. She's gorgeous on this show. It's just going to, she's just going to end and exit this life as a beautiful woman, even when she's, dead and gone in her casket. Okay. However, I didn't like her lipstick. I don't know why she likes to wear that uh, chalky like lipstick. It doesn't really fit her complexion all that well. At least that one last night did not. It didn't fit her complexion. She should have done something with a little bit of gloss, if not, you know, not a lot, but she could have added some kind of shine to her lips. Other than that, I thought she looked beautiful. I loved her earrings, her hair. The dress was way better than I thought, and I liked her shoes as well. I really liked her shoes. Um, Sutton, I did not like. I like Sutton's face. She has a beautiful face. I liked her black shoes, that heel. I'm wondering if that was also an Amina Muaddi because Kyle wears Amina Muaddi, or she did this season. She wore the earrings that she was putting on, and she also wore she had on the heels, I think, whenever they went to Dorit's place for a party. I want to tell you, when you see these Hollywood people always showing up in black, I heard something about that. I think it was over on Storm's show. I can't remember. Kyle has started to wear a lot of black, kind of like Kris Jenner. If you notice, you always see her in a black pantsuit. Everything about Kris Jenner is very dark and grim. And Kyle is developing some of those habits. And I'm thinking, um, this is making me mad. My phone is ringing, and I thought I turned it down. This is like really, let me turn it completely. Okay. So Kyle is developing those habits. She wears black everywhere. She wore it to Dorit's fashion show. She had it on last night. But when I first saw Kyle's dress in the promotional, I was like, okay, she looks like she's going to a club. This is ridiculous. Are they kidding? It's reunion. Give us something. We are the viewers. So we're the ones watching you. So give us something that we can deal with all this craziness. But as it turns out, I even liked her dress better last night than I saw than what I saw in the promotional. I loved Sutton Stracke's shoes. I didn't like everything else about her. I did like her hair, but the dress and everything else I wasn't too keen on. The absolute best dress was Dorit. Dorit first, Garcelle second. And even last night on Watch What's Happening Live, whenever Andy asked the viewers to judge the dress, Dorit was like way up there in numbers, and Garcelle was second with like 20 something percent. Um, who else? I did not like Erika's look at all. a 0. She gets 0 for that look from me last night. I didn't like Crystal's look either. I like Crystal's earrings, but that was it. Lisa Rinna, I did like her look. Those were boots she had on, by the way. Lisa Rinna had on boots. And did you see the after show? Garcelle said the beads on Dorit's dress were falling all over the. Are you kidding me? No, I didn't hear Garcelle say that, and I watched the whole show last night. Was that on Watch What's Happening Live that she said that, or was there another? Uh, oh my goodness! Do you believe that? I mean, if I guess they edited that out. Maybe the producers would come over and sweep them up. Oh my goodness, that's well. You know what? They have 4 parts to the reunion, so maybe it didn't show in last night's setting. Maybe it will show in the succeeding settings. Um, well, that's too bad that the beads were falling off because I really liked that dress. And you know what? Garcelle may be trying to be shady because of the dialogue she had with Dorit. I don't know. She wouldn't lie about that though. Garcelle, one thing Garcelle is not is a liar, so I can't say that either. Um, you guys, it was jam packed. It was jam packed. I'm only going to cover the highlights though. Um, I do believe Andy forewarned Erika about his line of questioning. And the reason I say that is because in the introduction and in the opening, when he was talking, going around asking all the other ladies how they were doing, and they were talking, when it got to Erika, she almost looked like she was afraid. She almost looked like she was preparing for something. And her body language told me that he had the discussion that he was going to have to go hard on her in the reunion. So she's already expecting it. She looked like she didn't know, what he was going to say next. Um, he said to Erika, when it got to Erika, he said, the biggest misconception is that you lack empathy for the, no, I'm sorry. He asked her a question. I don't remember the question he asked her, but he asked her a question about um, the victims or the viewers or something like that. I didn't even write the question down. There goes my notes again. Okay. But she said the biggest misconception that people have about her, and this is Erika speaking, is that she lacks empathy for the alleged victims. She called them alleged. This is no longer alleged, Erika. It is no longer alleged. Why does she keep saying that? And it's not even language she has to say. Some of the victims have already gone to court, and the courts have even ruled against Erika, telling Erika she needs to pay them $11 million. That's not alleged, honey. The judge has ruled on it. So you can stop with the BS. She's so sickening. I can't stand her. She has got to get off the show. She is okay, even if she's not a criminal because they have not deemed this to be criminal, they've deemed this to be civil. Yet, when Wesley Snipes didn't pay his taxes, it was deemed criminal and he went to jail, went to prison. So how is it that this is civil? White people in the justice system do the same thing that we see white people on the streets do. And that is they give each other permission to be evil and bad. They give each other permission to do so. I am sick of Erika. I at first I was thinking, but I know they're going to have to bring her back because of the way the show ended. Excuse me, guys. I'm having a glass of wine. I know it's like 4:32, 4:30 something Eastern time, and I just felt like a glass of Chardonnay before I got started with this. Um, she says that's the biggest misconception is that she lacks empathy and that she is cold-hearted. Well, you are cold-hearted, Erica. You are delusional. You are the epitome and you are the look of delusional because you're so built up in your fantasy about money that you have no character. You have no character. And someone really needs to tell you that. Lisa Rinna sitting there trying to hold Garcelle accountable for everything held you accountable for zero. Hell, how much did you pay her? This must be a payoff. I digress. Whenever Andy turns to Sutton and they start showing all these scenes of Sutton because people think that Sutton is, Kyle describes her as a baby or as a child that you have to lead the way for. And even Garcelle in her confessional describes Sutton as hormonal as her kids. And it could be the way that she was raised. Maybe she was raised in a spoiled kind of way where people didn't give her direction for anything other than college, business, and money. So when it comes to her behavior around other people, she gives off this I need help all the time. And so Erica's response to Sutton was to fluff her hair, swing it from one side to the other. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see Erica do that? She swung her hair from one side to the other whenever Sutton was talking to her. She didn't say anything. I was like, "Well, you just swing that." Um, Andy asked Erica why she didn't quit, and Erica says she didn't quit the show because she has nothing to hide. Well, that's her decision. You can't force people just because you don't want them on the show doesn't mean you have any say so of whether or not they be on the show. But I can just say, I would love for them to replace her because even after last night's reunion, I'm completely done. She keeps saying alleged victims. Ugh, she is so disgusting. Andy goes on to say, you have not been charged with a crime. Yet, when you look on social media, a lot of people are calling for you to be fired. Hell yeah, Andy. Hell to the yeah. Okay. She immediately puffs up. No, why should I be fired? Why are you presuming that I've done something wrong? Let's just wait for everything to be played out. Okay, Erica. Andy next goes on to Sutton and tells her that she was kind of front and center. And they start showing clips of her with her face roller. And she and Kyle, they also showed clips of Sutton's home finished, like they showed the in first part of the clips of her. Her home looks beautiful. I wasn't too crazy about the backdrop in the kitchen, but you can do a different backdrop. Other than that, her home looks beautiful. It looks perfect for her. And Kyle, and well, first of all, he talks about the relationship between her and Crystal. And he asked if she had had any advice from her mother on that. And her mother told her that she and Crystal were more alike than they think. And I just want to address this fact that recall Crystal and Sutton's first argument had to do with the what do you call it? Oh my, it had to do with race. They were the uh in the in the basement or in the bar area of someone's home, and it had to do with race. And Crystal called herself, says to Sutton, tell me you're not that girl. You're not that girl. I don't like that kind of talk. Tell me you're not that girl. You're not that girl. I didn't like that kind of talk. Anyway, that's how they talk to each other. Asians and Latinas do not have the same experience when it comes to race as Black people do. And I believe that that's what Crystal is not getting. Crystal cannot relate to Black people when it comes to racial issues. And if we want to be real clear, the reason that Asians and Latinas are able to live in this country and come over here is because we, Black people, really paved the way for them. We fought for our own rights, which then gave other people rights. And they don't even honor us for that. They steer clear like the rest of the nation. And in case you guys don't know, and the reason I'm talking about this is because race is a conversation on the show. It does come up as well. It should. It's reality. It is reality. And so Sutton and Crystal being alike, more alike than they think, I can agree to that. I can agree to that because I don't see Crystal as a, now she's Asian, so Asian, to me there are three races in the entire world. You have blacks who are, African, of African descent, who, that's us, and you also have Asians, okay, and you also have white people, right? In the middle are the Latinas. Latinas are mixed people. They are not a pure race. They're mixed. So if you do any of their genealogy, you'll find they are mixed, and a lot of them are mixed mostly with white people, and some of them are mixed with Black, of course. Same with Italians in Italy. And so whenever they are talking about Sutton and Crystal's history, I just wanted to bring my review out because that's what this is. This is Vlog Media Breeze, and I give my own reviews and my own commentary here and invite others to participate. And that's what it is. That's why I have to say things that I say are alleged. Well, except this thing that I just said about race. That's history. That's true. Okay. But a lot of what I say is, I have to say, is alleged because it's my own thought process. Kyle and Sutton have a conversation. Kyle tells Sutton that she almost burnt her house down. She pays her a real big compliment beforehand. You notice that she tells her, "Oh, I loved her as a tenant. Oh, she was a beautiful tenant. She was the best. Oh, she almost burned my house down." And then Sutton is like, "Okay, we going to court." Erika's like, "Okay, good. Someone else is going to court. It's not just me." Oh, goodness. But anyway, so I don't think that Kyle meant anything by bringing that up. Here is the thing. Sutton did not take responsibility for that. And we already know she is spoiled rich brat from South Georgia. I believe that Sutton did not know you're supposed to open up the vent to the fireplace. Whenever you light a fire, you guys, in your fireplace, I have a fireplace, so you're supposed to open up the vent. If you don't open up the vent, you can cause a fire. And I think that Sutton didn't even know. I think she just went in there, lit the fire, and thought it was going to burn. She was probably feeling some kind of really romantic way, or some kind of, warm and cozy way, and thought, "I'll just light the fire here. Kyle has a fireplace over here," and she didn't open up the vent. That's how that smoky, that burnt film is all around the fireplace now. And evidently no one else on that in the reunion knew to tell her that, because even Andy should have said, well, Sutton, did you open up the vent?" But instead he's asking Kyle, "Well, what about her deposit?" you know Listen, there's no deposit that can cover anything had that whole house burned down. um so I digress with that. Okay. Rinna says she doesn't see Sutton's store as a business. Rinna, that's because you've done too many. I think Rinna takes too many pills. Remember, she had that pill package, and I mean, she showed this on the show. So I can't really. I'm not accusing her of anything. She showed us a whole bag of pills on the show, and I believe she takes too many of those things because a store is a business. If you don't believe it, contact the Better Business Bureau in the area where Sutton has her store and see what they tell you, because they determine whether or not a business is a business in the area. You can also contact the Chamber of Commerce there. You can also contact the Secretary of State in your area, because businesses in most states anyway have to register with the Secretary of State also. So she has a business there. Her business pays taxes to the state of California, which you may even reap some of those benefits, Lisa. Dumbass. You don't see her store as a business. It's a business. Crazy woman. Anyway, we also learned that Sutton and her man are broke up. What was his name? Michael? And she's not telling us the whole story. She says that they broke up on Valentine's Day weekend. And whenever they ask her why they broke up, he said, she says, well, he said to me, I just can't. Well, Sutton, he just can't what? I wanted to hear the rest of that. What is it that he couldn't do? He couldn't do the show with the cameras, or he could no longer continue having sex with you. He could, I'm sorry, I think you're not supposed to say that. I'm sorry. He could no longer continue being intimate with you. See, this is what wine will do to you in the this is what wine will do to you in the early evening. You forget that you're not supposed to say certain things. Okay, at any rate. So you say that Lisa was saying that because her two stores fail. Yeah, Lisa's very jealous. She's very jealous of Garcelle also because, Garcelle is out here being successful and doing the darn thing. I don't want Garcelle to allow Lisa to bring her down. Do not get in bed with the devil. When you are moving on, guys, listen, I'm telling you this, and you know who else will tell you this? You go over and you listen to CEO Drive Her. That's CEO Driveher. Listen to her. She will tell you this too. Don't get it. When you are moving forward in your life, and there are people like Lisa Rinna who's trying to cause havoc, honey, cross the street when you see them bitches. Cross the street when you see them coming. Don't be cuddling up to them, being friends with them. She's jealous. That's why she hangs with Erika, because her and Erika are like two peas in a pod. Garcelle needs to leave Lisa alone. Lisa will bring her down. I'm going to just skip past the rest of the BS because what we saw of Rinna and Dorit and how they treated Garcelle. Did you hear how they treated Garcelle? We have Rinna. If you look at Rinna's nonverbals, if you get an opportunity to let's see, what are you saying, Erika? You're saying you truly wish Garcelle would have. Hey, I was about to say that too. Just been straight with those women, shot straight with those women. She appeared to be all over the place. It was frustrating to see Erika tell Garcelle that race is a big issue. Nobody can fight hard for you. Garcelle said, okay, this is what we're about to get into now. But I want to say to you, if you look at Rinna's facial expressions before Garcelle brought up the issue of what Rinna said about bringing race onto the show, Rinna, when she was telling Garcelle, "Don't you tell me what to do," that was the face of a racist white woman saying, "You black bitch, don't you tell me shit." Turn down your TV, mute your TV, and watch the reunion again. They'll probably do a replay next week. Mute your TV and just look at Rinna's body language when she says it. Look at her body language. Her body language is hateful to Garcelle. And then the next moment, she's over there sitting on the woman's lap. That was pretense. That was pretense. Going over sitting. Let's just put it all to rest. When she's saying let's just put it all to rest, let's not talk about race anymore. I don't want to. Race is real talk. If you are a reality show and you exist in America, race is real talk. Even if Garcelle was not on your show, you need to have the conversation. While your show was airing, the George Floyd issue was going on. Someone should have had a conversation about that. You know, it's a real issue. And you have people like Lisa and Dorit who want to ignore it because they feel uncomfortable. What happens is it intervenes into their space and they don't want to address it because they think that it will bring them down, and they will have to be honest about how they really feel. They will have to be honest about how they really feel. They would have to they would have to deal with their own feelings about it. But um the W women feel entitled to hate and to mistreat Black women, and that's what they did to Garcelle on the show last night. Um, Lisa Rinna, whenever Garcelle said to Lisa, no, even before that, whenever Garcelle was trying to reply to what's the Dorit, and Dorit yells at Garcelle. Did you guys hear her yell at Garcelle? I would have at least had to say, I would have had to say, hold up. I don't know who you think that you are talking to, but you don't raise your voice at me. You don't raise your voice at me. You have a point to make. I'm trying to make a point too. But Garcelle chose to be humble, which is humble is always good. It's always good. It just really it did something to me whenever I heard Dorit yell at her. She's never yelled at any of the other women that way. Next, we have Lisa and Garcelle. They're going back and forth. One of the things I did agree with Dorit on is during the season, Garcelle would say things in her confessionals that she didn't say directly to the ladies. And many of us had this discussion all season long. It's like you go into the confessional, Garcelle, and you say those same things to their face. So I agreed with that point that Dorit made about Garcelle. I agreed with that. Garcelle has a fear in her. I don't know where the fear is coming from, but she needs to determine where it's coming from so that she can get rid of it. Because whenever you are apprehensive about saying something, you at least need to ask yourself why you're being apprehensive, and answer honestly why you're being apprehensive, and that will help you to move forward. And I think Garcelle needs to do that. She needs to do some introspective work and ask herself, why was she afraid to say things to the women, but she said them in the confessional? Because once she gets clarity on all of that, that's growth. That's growth. She'll be able to confidently and professionally communicate without being afraid to do so. I'm not into what they all do, though. I know you guys are saying they all do that. I'm not into what everyone else does. I'm into how can I better myself. And a lot of times when you hear my commentaries and my reviews here, what I'm doing is I'm implementing myself onto the scene, my mind, my thought process. So I'm one of these people. I used to tell my manager when I worked at a particular major company. My manager said something to me one day, and I said, "My name is Bree. My name is not everybody." She said something about everybody else was doing something, and I just didn't agree with it. And I said to her, I said, "Well, my name is not everybody. My name is Bree. Okay." So my name is not all. My name is Bree. And so I digress with that. But I think that I just wanted Dorit. I just wanted Dorit. I just wanted Garcelle to, even last night on the show, whenever Dorit was going in on Garcelle, Garcelle in that moment should have said, "Well, listen, the reason you feel like I was calling you out is because I was calling you out. I was calling you out on your BS because you were talking about Erika behind her back and you wouldn't say it to her face. So whenever I brought that up at the table, you felt offended by that. And that's what you were responding to. So, in essence, what you're saying about me really ain't got shit to do with me. It's about you. You're mad because you were exposed." That's what Garcelle should have said to Dorit, because that's the truth. As Tamar Braxton used to say, that's the truth.com. Okay. Um, they did, yeah, I was too. You say, I was very disappointed in Garcelle last night for letting that trash talk to her like that. Garcelle needs to get off the show because she's not confident enough to confront these women. If she, I want them to bring her back one more season. And if she has not strategically come up with a way to confront these women whenever she needs to, then at that point, I want them to bring her off the show. This was, um, you know, in all fairness, it was her second season, and I wanted them to bring her back a second season because the first season I think that she was moving slowly trying to fill things out. So this was the season for her to break through more than we saw. Maybe she is a little bit slower than other people breaking through. I don't like the fact that Kathy didn't show up for her Haitian dinner. And Kathy supposedly next week is going to tell them, give them this huge excuse about why she didn't show up, which is probably going to be as unbelievable as F, okay? And yeah, as unbelievable AF. Y'all look, I'm not a good cusser. Actually, I probably can be a good cusser. I don't like the cuss. It's uncomfortable for me. So you'll hear me say the words, and then sometimes you'll hear me spell them out. At any rate, Garcelle should have called Kathy out on that. But as we can see in the previews of the upcoming other episodes of this reunion, she's not going to call Kathy out. She's going to be on Kathy's side with that BS. Kathy has supposedly brought in some reason in paper that shows proof about why she didn't show up for the Haitian meal. So I cannot wait to see it. And if Garcelle doesn't call her out, I'm going to be upset. Quite frankly, Kathy ain't all that. I mean, she's not the wealthiest woman in the world. She's wealthier than me. She's wealthier than a lot of women at 300 mil. That's a lot of money. At the same time, her personality is like off to me. Her personality gives me something else. I don't know what's going on with her, but it gives me that she's on some kind of something else. She's on some other level of something. I don't know. Maybe she smokes weed. Sometimes people who smoke weed are slow. Um, at any rate, Lisa and Garcelle, out of nowhere, says to Lisa, Rinna, you know, I heard that you said that I should have never brought up race on the show because this is not that kind of show. Lisa Rinna said that. And Garcelle last night on Watch What's Happening Live stood her ground in saying, okay, no, she doesn't believe Rinna said it. I believe Rinna did say it. It sounds just like her. It sounds just like her. She lied last night, so she can lie about that too. Because remember, whenever Garcelle said, well, no, whenever Rinna said, well, you could have called me and said this, just like you called me and you wanted me to come over and make it right. And Garcelle said, no, you're the one who called me and you accused me of trying to steal your job. Did you guys hear Garcelle say that to Lisa Rinna last night? Rinna was trying to say to Garcelle, you called me and you wanted me to come over. You wanted us to make things right. And Garcelle said, no, you're the one who called me and you accused me of trying to take your job. She didn't say nothing after that. So Rinna is very accustomed to fabricating stories or fabricating information. After that, that's when Garcelle brought in the color issue, said it made her upset whenever she heard that. And I believe the reason that Rinna went over there to kind of schmooze Garcelle is because after that conversation about what Garcelle said about hearing what she had said about race, I think Rinna was trying to bring the tension down from that. She didn't want the backlash of that information going any further. So what she did was she was like, let's just make up. Let's just put it all to put it by the wayside. I love you. If I didn't love you, I wouldn't be here. She did that scene right after Garcelle exposed what she heard that Rinna said about race. And that is why I believe it. Now, it is alleged that she said it, okay? But on this video, on this channel, I'm telling you, I believe it. The other thing is, why was Erika putting her mouth in the business of Garcelle and Lisa? I mean, she really needs to sit there, either keep her legs closed or keep them crossed, talking about she wants a man with a big P. Honey, you are busted. From what we understand, you were cheating on Tom Girardi, allegedly. You want to talk about he was cheating with you on you? Rumor was just 3 years ago that you were cheating on him. And those rumors have flourished with someone on your team. And plus, you just need to be quiet anyway, Erika, because you're gonna have to deal with enough on this show. So stop putting your mouth in everybody else's business. If I was you, I would just sit there and keep swinging my hair. Don't say nothing until Andy starts to bring your questioning to the floor. Okay. But yeah, those women were treating Garcelle like that because they feel entitled to treat her that way because they are the W's and she's a black female. They feel entitled. And it is so deep in their conscience that they probably don't even know that that's what it comes across as. Dorit says to Garcelle that Garcelle is irrelevant. Did you guys hear her say that? She had the audacity to call Garcelle irrelevant and tell Garcelle things like she checked out. Garcelle said, "No, I show up." And she yelled at Garcelle. All of this that we were witnessing between Dorit and Lisa Rinna is microaggressive W women. These are microaggressions that W women put out there. In fact, contrary to what Garcelle said, to what Dorit said about Garcelle, I would dare say that Dorit is the one bullying Garcelle. So the other side of this is Dorit's personality, because please remember, she also dismissed Lisa Vanderpump. She's no longer friends with Lisa Vanderpump. Her and TK and Lisa Vanderpump and her husband, they all had a meeting and tried to mend fences with Dorit, and Dorit was not willing to move forward with Lisa Vanderpump. So part of this is just her personality. The other side, I see the microaggression, and I like Dorit. I think Dorit is one of the most beautiful women on the show. Gorgeous brown eyes. Her hair looked absolutely fantastic last night. The dress looked good. I hope those beads were not falling off because she looked beautiful. And but she kept the yelling at Garcelle. Don't you tell me to do anything, Lisa. Don't you tell me to do a thing. And at one point, Crystal had the audacity to say to Garcelle that she talked about her behind the scenes. She told Garcelle, "You talked about me behind the scenes whenever you said that no one knew me." Well, Crystal, no one did know you. No one knew you. We all knew Rob from The Lion King, but no one knew you. And of course, Garcelle is an actress, so she knows other producers. Of course, she knew your husband. She knew Rob Minkoff, but she didn't know you. I think the issue was that Garcelle didn't say it to Crystal. So in that case, I can't say much because Garcelle, there was a way she could have said that at the table. That is what makes me think she's fearful. She didn't want to say it at the table. It's something she was thinking when they were at the table eating, but she didn't say it. She waited until her confessional to say it. So right there, she needs to ask herself, why did she wait? What was her fear? Because that will help her to more strategically move forward with these women and to do that better. Let's see here. I want her to stop thinking Rinna's supposed to have her back. Rinna's not going to have her back. That was really the gold in the reunion last night. That was gold. That conversation with Rinna, Dorit, and Garcelle. That was gold. So they're gonna have to bring Garcelle back because at least she brought something to them. Okay. Um, Rinna accused Garcelle of having it out for her. No, Rinna, you had it out for Garcelle. You're a gaslighter. You're a gaslighter. Someone tells you something and you turn it back on them. Oh, Harry said, what's wrong with Garcelle? She looks so sad. Biatch, tell your husband to go back into his cave, into his tent up in the California mountains somewhere. What do you mean that she looks so sad? She does not, Garcelle doesn't look sad. Garcelle is living her best life. She has gotten a new life, honey. She has come up. She's done this movie with Eddie Murphy that she just finished. Oh my gosh, I can't Coming to America. She's doing The Real. She's a major host on there. Okay. She's out here working these streets. She is also now on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's doing the daggone thing. So what do you mean that she has it out for you? She ain't got time to have it out for you. You have it out for her because you can't even get a job now because those W's out there in Hollywood, they done seen how you act here on this show and they don't F with you like that no more. They're like, well, we can't bring her over here and have her do this because look at how she's acting. You know? Let's see what else here. She reached out to her. Okay. Oh, this is what else. Erika, did you guys hear Erika say to Garcelle, well, you do add a different perspective to the show? No, Erika, you add a different perspective to the show because you brought in the element of theft. You brought in the element of theft, of crime, and now they're trying to in California say it's civil. Theft is a crime. Please tell me the last time that anyone saw that theft was not a crime. That's embezzlement. That's embezzlement that your husband was involved in. He was an attorney. He stole money from people who won cases. That's embezzlement. I don't know why people think this is civil. And Andy, although you haven't been accused of a crime, I'm so sick of Andy. I really am. I'm so sick of his devilment. It is not civil. It is a crime. If Erika was Garcelle and Garcelle was married to an old, wealthy African American lawyer, and him and Garcelle would both be under the jail, we would not have had the amount of time from 2018 to now. They would have had that case last year. We would not have seen her on the show this season. And that's just how it would have gone down for real. For real. Okay. So what else here? Then they start talking about Kathy comes out. They start talking about Kyle's broken nose, which I learned about her broken nose because she was on the Kelly. What's Kelly's last name? She has a talk show. She was the American Idol winner one year. I can't remember her name, but Kyle was on her show and she talked about how she broke her nose while filming the movie Halloween, which is coming out tomorrow, you guys, Friday. And so then Kathy comes out, and that's just about where I'm going to leave it. And I want Garcelle to know Lisa does not love you. That whole play of coming on to over there to the couch was the fact that she realized that you had just made a statement about race and it had to do with something that she said. And what she did when she went over to that couch is she was trying to de-escalate the backlash that she would receive after the show. That is exactly what she was doing. So I don't want Garcelle to think that Lisa likes her. Lisa's entire nonverbals said, I hate your black ass. and you don't tell me what to do. And that's what you need to go with, Garcelle. Ain't no starting over. Now, I know you got to get your bag. So if you want to pretend to start over with Lisa, go right ahead, girl. I got you. I'll still watch, okay? But that's it, you guys, for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, season 11, episode 21. And that is it. Um, I think on the next one, for those of you who are here, I want to bring you on the screen, especially those of you who do not agree with me. I like having a difference of um, thought process. I like to hear other people's thought process because there are times when other people can change your mind and change the way that you look at a situation. So I really like that. At one point, I was looking at everyone else's reviews and then coming onto my channel and completing the reviews. But I decided, no, I want to go raw and authentic with my own reviews and then go watch their channel and see what they say. That being said, I'm going to do a segment here. I may do it for one of my Saturday morning live Coffee with Breezy shows where I talk about my favorite YouTubers. Because you guys, I was listening to the Bishop, the Bishop who used to be over there with the Avatar. He now has his own YouTube with two other young black traditional men. And I love the show, you guys, because they do bring just when you think there are no more traditional black men on this earth, because I don't know what's happening with all of these men who are going around liking other men. I'm not for that. I don't mind saying I'm not for that. I'm a daughter of the utmost high God, and God is not for that. And I'm not for it either. It's ridiculous. It's just the whole process is just, now do I love them? Do I have friends that I've worked with who are in that lifestyle? I sure do. Can I have an intelligent conversation with them? I sure can. It's just I know what God says about it, and I know what I think about it. Even with the females, I'm going, really? That's what y'all doing? Okay, honey, I ain't never wanted that. Listen, I have enough issues with my own thing. I ain't gonna have some other woman's over here. Um, but I digress. Thank you for showing up. I noticed in my last video, a lot of you were here and you did not like my video. You didn't like my video, and that kind of hurt my feelings because I'm like, why are they coming over here if they don't like my video? So with that being said, here we go. I'm out. You guys have a blessed evening.